I am suing Zach Sellers and anybody else that thinks it's funny or entertaining to get online and spread defamatory and slanderous lies, misinformation, completely bullshit stories for the sake of views, likes, engagement, and galaxies. I'm done.
The internet is going crazy right now, and it's all because James Charles has finally broken his silence. He's firing back hard, and the target, Zach Sellers. James is straight up calling him a liar, accusing him of twisting the truth, and even warning him about a possible defamation lawsuit. Yep, he's basically saying, see you in court. This whole thing just exploded, and we need to break it down fast. So here's what went down. On Wednesday, James dropped a TikTok explaining why he kept quiet for so long. He said he waited until after Kayla Malec's recent court victory against her ex, Evan Johnson, the guy at the center of all this chaos. For those who missed that drama, Kayla accused Evan of some really serious stuff. The court sided with her, and now Evan's doing 18 months behind bars. That's major. According to James, that case had to wrap up before...
Do not support Evan Johnson in any way, shape, or form. Let me make that clear. I don't support him, I don't support violence against women, and I sure as hell do not support the disgusting, deplorable, violent, heinous acts that he committed against Kayla Malec behind closed doors.
In the TikTok, James didn't hold back. He came out denying everything. No shady behavior, no support for Evan, nothing. And he didn't just stop there.
This is going to court this week. Anything I or anybody else says online can and probably will be used by either Evan's defense attorney or the judge to affect the outcome of its ruling. And I didn't want to put Kayla at any risk for that. I hate that I'm getting online and filming this video right now, but I truthfully have no other choice because I've also spent the last several weeks trying to get in contact with the only person involved in this that actually matters and needs to hear the truth, and that's Kayla Malec. And she has been unwilling to have a conversation.
James directly called out Zach Sellers, who's been one of the loudest voices online, demanding that James take accountability. Zach's been dragging him nonstop, but James just threw it all right back. James is making it super clear. He says he's completely done with Evan Johnson. No ties, no friendship, nothing left. This video is his way of clapping back and trying to set the record straight. James also dropped a bomb by saying he and Kayla Malec were never that close, despite what everyone online seemed to think. He made it super clear there was nothing romantic going on between him and Evan Johnson either.
I am suing Zach Sellers and anybody else that thinks it's funny or entertaining to get online and spread defamatory and slanderous lies, misinformation, completely bullshit stories for the sake of views, likes, engagement, and galaxies. I'm done.
But here's where things get real messy. Because this totally clashes with what Zach Sellers' husband has been saying. Let's rewind a bit. Zach used to be tight with Evan until he watched Kayla's emotional video exposing what Evan allegedly did to her during their relationship. After that, Zach cut ties with Evan and went full force supporting Kayla. He's been reposting her story, spreading awareness, and calling out everyone connected to Evan, including James. Zach didn't hold back. He claimed James was getting involved with Evan behind the scenes while still being friendly with Kayla. The internet did not take that well. People were angry, disappointed, and accusing James of being back on his same old behavior. According to Zach, Evan was straight, and that just made everything even more controversial.
So honest, I did not take this conversation very seriously. And obviously, now knowing what we all do, I should have. Reading it back now, it is super clear that she was using humor to cope, and that is perfectly fine and valid. But at the time, I genuinely interpreted these messages as a messy breakup. Maybe he cheated, maybe they got into a drunken argument that ended badly. I could have never imagined what she was actually going through behind the scenes. I wish that I would have asked more questions, but frankly, I didn't feel comfortable doing so. First and foremost, she obviously wasn't ready to talk about it yet based on her last message. And secondly, me and Kayla Malec just weren't close friends. I don't say that to take away from her feelings about this. I don't say that to undermine what she went through. We've only met a couple of times. We collabed in 2023. She guest starred on a podcast with me in 2024, and we hung out at our mutual friend's Halloween party back in October. We've never hung out one-on-one. We've never had a deep conversation. I just really didn't know her that well to be able to interpret these messages and have a better idea of what was actually happening behind closed doors.
Folks started saying James hadn't learned a thing from past scandals. To make it worse, there were even claims flying around that James was helping Evan out, despite the serious accusations against him. That set off even more outrage. And let's not forget, James and Kayla had made videos together. So, when fans heard James might have been chasing after her ex, they were seriously confused. The vibe was, why would you try to get with your friend's ex? But in his new video, James is shutting it all down. He says every single one of those claims is false, and he's standing by that like his reputation depends on it. James actually filmed his video before the court hearing, but waited to post it until everything wrapped up. He explained he didn't want to say anything earlier and risk messing with the legal process, but the timing still raised eyebrows. What's not looking great for James is that Kayla apparently doesn't even want to speak to him right now, and that's kind of a big deal, especially since James keeps saying they were never that close in the first place.
Really to admit it, but I did have a brief friendship with Evan Johnson that started and ended well before I ever learned about any of the violence that was going on behind the scenes. He reached out to me a couple of days later asking me for advice and told me the same exact story that Zach Sellers believed and then repeated on the Be Better podcast, which was that the relationship was toxic, they both said things and did things that they shouldn't have, and a bunch of other stories that genuinely made me believe Evan Johnson was the victim in the situation. He told me that he moved back to Nashville to go to church and get therapy and try to become a better man, and he seemed vulnerable. He seemed real, and he seemed scared that Kayla was going to get online and start telling lies about him, and he knew exactly what to say to relate it back to a situation that I was in that made me have sympathy for him and be on his side. I feel so forever believing him, but when I was in a similar situation, all I cared about was anybody treating me like a human being and hearing me out and being there for him, so that's what I tried to provide. We became closer, we would start FaceTiming, he was very press, and eventually he told me that he wanted to come out to LA to escape and get his mind off of things for a weekend, so I invited him out. All we did was sit on the couch, order food, watch movies.
It's almost like he's using that to explain why he never checked in on her or asked questions about her breakup with Evan. Basically trying to say it wasn't a big deal for him to still be cool with Evan. But now James is taking it a step further. He says he's suing Zach Sellers over the lies being spread about him. He claims this whole thing has gone too far and that he's got no choice but to take legal action. Then James dropped another twist. He said that back in January, he actually reached out to Kayla about filming a Valentine's Day campaign with Evan for his painted brand. And that's when Kayla let him know they had broken up. To back himself up, James even shared a screenshot of their texts where he asked, "Do you want to be in a painted video with your man?" So now he's saying he had no clue they'd split before that message, and that changes everything. So in the text James shared, Kayla did not hold back. She straight up told him, "I'm not even joking. This made me piss. I broke up with him effing last night. I saw your story and was crashing out. LMAO. Tune in for the 30-part Who the F Did I Marry? Series. Total chaos." James was clearly caught off guard and replied, "What?" Then Kayla fired back, "Girl, he's effing crazy." And here's where it gets real awkward. James responded with, "What happened? Can I have him now? LMFAO. Like, what?
Over the course of the weekend, I slowly started to notice that some of his stories were not exactly lining up. There were inconsistencies, and I started to get worried that I might be on the wrong side of things, and that was confirmed as soon as Kayla noticed that he was at my house and I had to lie to her. I didn't know what to do. I realized then that I was in the middle of a very situation that I should have never gotten involved with in the first place, but this man was staying with me and I didn't know how to get out of it. Later on that night, I told Evan straight up I was uncomfortable, I was upset that I had to lie to her, and that we could not hang out any further. He respected that, and the next morning, he flew home. As soon as Evan left LA, I immediately started making myself unavailable to him because I recognized that he was not the man he was telling me he was. But it wasn't until a month later, when Kayla uploaded her video, He Doesn't Love You, that I actually got to sit and watch how much of a monster he was.
Even he later admitted this joke was a bad move. He followed up with, "I'm so sorry, Kayla. You deserve better." And she said, "Imagine like the worst things a human can do to you. It would take hours to text it, but you'll see the series soon because WTFLMAO. But thank you so much. Congrats on the painted love." James, realizing the vibe was off, texted back, "Oh God, you're actually doing a series on it. I'm sorry." And Kayla hit back with, "Oh, just wait. Because I gave this man a platform based off his lies, but I'm on my way to heal from it." And then clock it. James said again, "I'm sorry, Kayla." And she replied, "You're so good. Thank you, Sister James." Now here's the twist. James admitted in his TikTok that he didn't take the convo seriously at the time. And he totally regrets it now. He also came clean about having a real friendship with Evan Johnson, saying he just wanted to be there for him. Definitely not the best look, and now he's catching heat for all of it. James said that at first he was just listening to what Evan was telling him, but things started feeling off. He began to suspect Evan wasn't being honest and admitted that Evan had lied to Kayla at one point. Eventually, James said he had no choice but to kick Evan out of his house. And then he cut him off completely. This actually lines up with what Zach Sellers had claimed, that James and Evan were hanging out in LA, and that James did lie to Kayla about being with Evan.
Hi, Kayla. Hey, Kayla. We just finished with our interview, and
Oh my gosh.
we just wanted to let you know that we love you and we support you and we're here for you if you need anything.
Thank you. I love you guys so much, and I'm like really excited to see you guys.
Yes, I love you, Kayla.
I love you guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too, guys. Love you all.
Love you.
But James is standing firm. He insists nothing romantic went down between them. He's trying to frame the whole situation like he was just helping a friend in need, but that's definitely raising eyebrows. Then James said that after Kayla's video dropped, he started getting messages from Zach warning him to ditch Evan ASAP. And James didn't hold back. He showed private DMs from Zach too. In those messages, Zach had been friendly with James in the past, even sending him compliments like, "You cute, keep being you," and replying to a story saying, "Good morning, handsome." James clearly wanted people to see that Zach had once been nice to him, maybe to show that this whole feud didn't come out of nowhere. But sharing those messages just added more drama to the fire. At one point, Zach even joked in James's DMS, "Maybe one day you'll reply, LOL." Then things started getting more specific. In February, Zach sent a message referencing what sounds like a convo he had with James, and possibly Evan saying,
The only reason he even knew I was involved at all was because he was physically with Evan as his best friend, supporting him every single day. It took me 3 days with Evan to realize that something wasn't right here. It took Zach 3 months. So to act this way privately and then to get online as if I'm some monster was wild to me. What started off as a video of James Charles supporting Evan Johnson behind the scenes snowballed into more videos, more content, and then live streams. Every single night, Zach has been live asking for galaxies in exchange for showing more receipts. He's been asking his followers for their cities and locations so he can go on tour with Kayla after this is all over with. He's even been asking for donations on PayPal to fund a merch line.
James, you were right. Blink or stupid as we lost at the casino. That message made it clear they'd all been in touch and even hanging out. Then in March, Zach hit James again with, "I need to get you to teach me how to do my makeup." Ha ha ha. And added, "Evan said you need to start buying painted when I picked him up from the airport." Ha ha ha. So yeah, they were all still cool at that point, but that vibe changed real fast. By April, Zach's tone flipped. He messaged James privately saying, "Hey James, between me and you, I think you should cut Evan off completely. He really did do some unacceptable-ish and told me last week that you were taking his side. Please keep this between us, but I cut him off today."
Hey James, so I'm on here because I'm responding to your video because you're gonna sue me and I can't wait to receive those papers and take this to court because everything I have spoken about is the absolute truth. Kinda crazy that you've been blowing the hell out of Kayla's phone up and she's not responding to you because she knows what you are and she knows the character that you are and she knows it's the absolute truth. And then you wanna bring up Kayla's messages, my messages, but where are your and Evan's messages off Instagram? Oh wait, it was vanish mode. But just because it was vanish mode does not mean that we can't get a hold of those messages. Because when this goes to court, we will be able to get all of your Instagram messages. And I'm scared for whenever they get over to your Instagram and see all of your Instagram messages and all of your vanish mode because you don't want no one to take screenshots because who you think you are and who you are. But I'm scared that there's gonna be all these little kids that are gonna have to come forward because of all your past allegations. They're gonna also look at characters. They're gonna look at my character from the past and they're gonna look at your character from the past. And your character from the past is absolutely sick.
Then another urgent message followed. Zach said, "Hey man, the things Evan has done is true and had us all manipulated. I've been posting my side of the story. Evan texted me and said you told him to stay quiet and that Kayla is a liar. I also have his location when he came to LA to stay with you when no one knew. And now people are asking for more info. Zach added, "If you want to reach out, let me know. Just trying to get the story out because he's evil. I was best friends with him here in Tennessee before Kayla's YouTube." And then came another follow-up message. "Is that something you want to keep private? I wanted to at least try to attempt to reach out to you. We've been on FaceTime in Evan's car that night when me and Evan were going to the casino. It's messy, no doubt. Between the jokes, makeup chats, and urgent warnings, this timeline shows how fast things spiraled from casual DMs to serious accusations. So just to clear it up, Evan's ex-modeling buddy that he always used to talk about, that's who James was referring to. And from the way James tells it, he's clearly frustrated that Zach is getting a free pass in the public eye, even though Zach was also close with Evan for a long time. James seems to feel like he's being dragged while Zach's walking around with a hero badge. And let's be real, Zach hasn't been grilled too hard about his past with Evan. Why? Because he's been super vocal, constantly posting about James and showing support for Kayla. That alliance, Zach and Kayla being tight, made people side with him almost instantly. It's like the internet picked teams and James wasn't on the winning one. James, meanwhile, stayed silent for weeks. And that only made everything worse. Fans were stuck asking,
My legal team has already been in touch with yours. We're waiting on the papers because we will be subpoenaing your phone. No matter if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 phones, whatever. Because I do know there has been kids that have reached out to me and have shown me evidence where you have said, don't take screenshots. And also, the Instagram messages have been on vanish mode. So this is not just, you taking up for, DV and being against Kayla. This is a lot more to it. So I cannot wait to bring this to court.
wait, does James still support Evan? Or why hasn't he said anything? Plus, people were questioning his loyalty to Kayla and whether he had actually changed after all his previous controversies. That silence turned into a storm of suspicion. Honestly, if James had just come out from the jump and said, I don't support Evan Johnson, this whole thing might have been way smaller, but since he waited, the story kept snowballing, with new questions popping up every single day. People filled in the blanks on their own and not in James's favor. Now, James is making it clear. He says he was only friends with Evan and that he completely cut him off after hearing what happened. But the way he's talking, you can tell he's mad. Mad that he's the one taking all the heat while Zach is out here being seen as some truth teller. James is straight up calling him a clout chaser now. James doubled down again, saying loud and clear that nothing romantic ever happened between him and Evan. He swears he never gave Evan any money in exchange for anything, and as far as he knows, if Evan did lie to Zach, that's news to him too. And that other rumor flying around, James shut it down quick. He says he did not pay Evan's bail.
Oh my God. People are really in his comment section saying, oh my God, I believe him. He didn't stutter once. This guy makes videos for a living. He's been on camera for 8 years. All he does is talk. He has 19 PR teams. Would you think he was going to put out something where he was like stuttering on his words? 30 minutes before James posted that video, I watched the Be Better video. I just tagged him in the comments. He literally said what James Charles was going to post and how he was going to respond to this, and word for word did exactly what Be Better said.
Period. That's pretty much where James wrapped up his side of the story, but it didn't end there. Zach hopped online real quick to fire back at James's video, and he came in hot. He said he hasn't lied about anything and made it very clear he's not backing down. Then Zach dropped the line that got everyone buzzing. James is messing with the wrong person. So now, all eyes are on what happens next. Will James actually take Zach to court like he's been hinting, or is this going to blow up even more online first? Either way, this drama's nowhere near done. James is standing firm. He's saying loud and clear that nothing intimate ever went down with Evan, and now he's ready to take this all the way to court if he has to. That's where things stand for now. But this whole situation is still heating up. There are fans in his comment section backing him up, saying they believe his side, but not everyone's convinced. And guess who chimed in? Bryce Hall! Yup, even he called this out, adding more fuel to the fire. So now we really want to know, what do you think about James's response? Is he telling the truth? Is the internet being too harsh? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because this one's got people divided. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you're keeping up with the drama. Hit that bell so you don't miss what happens next. And trust, we'll be right here breaking it all down. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.